All right, let's get right into it. Today, we are going to break down a really powerful way of thinking about business, a framework for building a company that doesn't just survive, but truly dominates for the long haul. We're talking about Hamilton Helmer's 7 powers, these incredible forces that can create a durable, almost unfair competitive advantage.
You know this feeling, right? The market is just relentless. One day you're at the top of your game, and the next it feels like you're fighting off 100 new competitors. That incredible speed, that constant churn, that's the core problem every single leader is trying to solve.
And that really is the billion-dollar question, isn't it? It's not just about having a great quarter or launching one hot product. It's about building something that has real staying power. And that's exactly what this framework is designed to help us figure out.
To get to that answer, we really have to change how we think. We need to look past those short-term wins and start talking about what Helmer calls a strategic power. This concept is the key to everything.
Okay, so look at this. On the left, you've got your temporary advantages. Think about a slick marketing campaign or being the first one out the gate with a new feature. These things can give you a nice little boost for sure, but they're like a sugar rush. They fade fast, and your competitors can copy them in no time. But on the right, that's a power. A power is a deep, structural moat you build around your business. It's a fundamental reason why you can keep generating amazing profits year after year. It's the difference between winning a single battle and building an unbeatable fortress.
So you're probably wondering, how do I know if this thing I'm so proud of, this advantage my company has, is just a temporary boost or a genuine power? Well, lucky for us, Helmer gives us a super simple but really tough test to figure it out. Think of it like a diagnostic tool for your entire strategy. So here's the litmus test. First, does it create real barriers? Does it actually stop your rivals from just copying what you do? Second, is it sustainable? Can you keep this advantage going for the long haul, even when the market inevitably changes? And third, is it profitable? Does it really, truly lead to better financial returns? It's a high bar, I know. If you can't give a hard yes to all three, you've got a nice advantage, but you do not have a power.
Now, theory is great, but let's see how this stuff actually works in the wild. Helmer identifies 7 powers in total, things like branding and owning a cornered resource. But for our purposes, we're going to zero in on 3 of the most important ones, especially in the tech world: scale economies, switching costs, and network economies. Let's see how these build absolute market dominance.
First up, scale economies. This one is a classic, and it is incredibly potent. The idea is simple. The bigger you get, the cheaper it becomes to produce every single thing you sell.
You can see that perfect virtuous cycle right here. As your business grows, you get to spread those massive fixed costs. We're talking things like R&D, engineering, data centers, over millions and millions of customers. This drives your per unit cost way down, and suddenly you have this incredible strategic choice. You can either drop your prices and starve out your smaller competition, or you can take those huge profits and reinvest them to get even further ahead. Either way, you win.
Okay, next up is switching costs. This is the power you get when you make it a legitimate pain for your customers to leave you for somebody else. And look, this isn't about tricking them or locking them in unfairly. It's about becoming so deeply woven into their workflow or their life that leaving just isn't worth the hassle.
So why do customers stick around, even when a shiny new competitor comes along with a slightly better feature? Because leaving is painful. Just imagine the absolute chaos of retraining an entire company on a new software platform, or the risk involved in trying to move years of critical data, or just the sheer cost of buying a whole new system. These hurdles create a powerful lock-in that's tough to break.
Enterprise software is the absolute best example of this. Once a huge company has built its entire operation, its finance, its HR, everything, on a platform like SAP or Oracle, the cost and the risk of switching are just astronomical. They've poured millions into training and customization. Trying to rip that out, it's almost unthinkable. Now that is a fortress.
Our third power is maybe the most defining force in our modern digital world. It's called network economies. This is that special kind of magic that happens when a product gets more valuable for every single user just because more people are using it.
Think about it like this. The very first person with a telephone had nobody to call, right? It was useless. But with every new person who got a phone, the network became exponentially more valuable for everyone. This creates an insane moat. I mean, why would you ever join a new social network that only has 100 users when all your friends are on the one with 2 billion? You wouldn't. This is what leads to those massive winner-take-all markets we see today.
And this is not just some academic theory. This is the engine that has built some of the most dominant companies on Earth. Facebook is valuable because everyone you know is on it. eBay works because that's where all the buyers and sellers are. Once these platforms reach that critical mass, their network itself becomes a fortress wall that is just about impossible for a new player to climb over.
Okay, so let's pull all this together. If you're a leader, if you're thinking about the long-term strategy for your company, understanding these powers is absolutely everything. It's about designing your business from the ground up to be built to last.
And this is really the main takeaway. True strategy isn't about short-term tactics or outmarketing your competition for one quarter. It is about deliberately, methodically building one or maybe more of these powers to create a fortress around your business. A fortress with deep moats and high walls that will protect your profits for years, maybe even decades to come.
So I'll leave you with a final question to really think about. Take a hard look at your own business. Which of these powers, if any, are protecting you right now? And, maybe even more importantly, which of these powers could a competitor use to come in and completely disrupt your entire market? Now that is something worth spending some time on.